Yo, brother, it's time for us to start talking the real, man. We've been sugarcoating too much. We've got to start calling everything out for what it is.
Well, hey guys, I'm on my first, I guess you'd say my first real ride with the V9. I did take it to the store the other day. Got some groceries, came home, but that was probably only a mile and a half of riding. So I thought I'd take it, it's late afternoon, actually early evening probably. It's about 6:15 in the evening, Southern California, and March 24th. Beautiful day today. It was about 80 degrees. Really nice weather we're having right now. So anyway, I thought I'd take it out and do a little. This will probably be like a 10-mile river loop. I'll let this guy go by me. And I think, as I said in my unboxing video, for me, this is a 0 to 20 mile per hour wheel. Like right now I'm going 19. I just don't feel comfortable going faster than that on this wheel. A couple reasons. It's not a high performance wheel by today's standards, right? I think the top speed is 28 miles per hour. I'd like to have a good headroom above me. And so there's that. Also, again, related to safety, is there's no pads in this wheel. And I'm probably not going to bother putting pads on, because then I'd have to install Velcro. That kind of makes it messy. Takes away the pretty looks of this wheel, right? So, you know, I don't know. It's not my wheel, so I'd have to take the Velcro off. And anyway, no pads. And for me, besides using pads for acceleration and braking, for me, pads are a safety feature. I know some people just don't like to put pads in the wheels, but to me, that's kind of maybe indicative of how they ride, I suppose. I don't know, because you can, even with a suspension wheel, you can hit an unexpected bump and you're just going to fly off this wheel. There's nothing holding your feet on these pedals except gravity. And you can hit an unexpected bump. You can encounter some bad surface conditions, and your feet can slip off the wheel. If you have pads that are not necessarily locking your feet in, but they're keeping your feet from moving up much more, you know, your feet only move up a little bit, then you're not going to fly off the wheel. You know, the story, I got a kind of a free Sherman, original Sherman, at the time when Shermans were hot. And that was because a local rider, he was riding Sherman. He had no pads. It was very new. I think it had less than 100 miles on it. And he was going down a hill. He hit an unexpected bump that he didn't see. no pads. He flew off the wheel, landed behind him. Fortunately, he didn't get hurt badly, but the wheel had about $600 worth of damage that he ended up giving me the wheel. So I just paid for the hardware to replace it. But that's an indication of what can happen if you don't have pads. If he had had pads, he would not have been kicked off the wheel. So that's another reason I don't want to ride much faster than what I'm doing. Looks like comfortable speed, 18 to 19 miles an hour. And for me, that's the sweet spot on this this wheel. It feels really, it's kind of fun. I don't do this. It seems like I don't do this much anymore. Where, let me change the camera views for a second. I don't do rides like this as much anymore, and actually I probably should. Where I just come out, I can think about my day. Just a mellow ride. I don't have to be going 30 miles an hour. This is very relaxing. I call this smell the roses speed. It's very pleasant. And that's what this wheel is made for. I can just see this wheel being perfect for all kinds of situations. Like a college student, be able to get around campus on a wheel like this. Or college student who just wants to get around town and do some errand shopping, whatever, or someone like me who do use my small wheels for errands, quite a lot actually. If I'm going to my local grocery store a couple miles away, I'm not going to get out my EX30 or my Sherman L, right? I like to grab the small wheels. They're less conspicuous in the store as I wheel it about. So this is very pleasant. In my unboxing video, I might have provided some poor guidance for the suspension in terms of how to fill the chambers. I've gotten some nice feedback on that video, and I'm taking it to heart. Basically, there is dispute. I'm not 100% convinced that I'm wrong, but I believe I can be, and that's regarding how much air pressure you lose when you're disconnecting the hoses and everything. And so what I did is I ended up filling the pressures essentially very high, because I assumed I was going to be losing a lot. And I think I'm being convinced that where you lose the pressure is when you connect up the hose, when you connect up your pump to the shock. That's when you're probably losing most of the pressure. And you probably lose a little bit when you disconnect the pump, I still think, but maybe not nearly as much as I was thinking. And this suspension does feel pretty stiff. It takes the bumps, but it does feel stiff. So, and as I advised in that video, you should experiment, and of course I'm going to experiment. So on this ride, at the turnaround point, at the midway point, I'm going to stop, brought the pump with me and the extension, and I'm going to connect up, and I'm going to change. I'll release the pressure from the shock, and I'm going to fill up the bottom shock to, I'm going to go for 150 as the gauge reads, and the top I'm going to put 50. And I'll tell you what you think. Tell you what I think in terms of how it feels. Because it's definitely it's functional, but there's not a lot of movement. So I probably, if what everyone is saying that I'm not losing pressure when I'm removing the pump, then I'm riding this wheel with about at least 300 psi in the top chamber, the rebound, and you know, like 250 on the bottom at least. So I'll do that next. This looks like a good spot to do a little shock adjustment. Well guys, it looks like I'm not going to be able to adjust the suspension. When I put this red cap on, I you know, add a little bit of torque with pliers, and yeah, I don't think it's going to come off without a tool. And since this was a short ride, I didn't bring any of my little bag of tools that I usually carry with me. So I guess I'll do this little experiment tomorrow. I'll just continue my ride back. I'll see at least how much battery I consume in whatever today's ride is, 10 miles, something like that. Let you know how that goes. Oh well. All right, back in the road again. So now this is a side set of trails adjacent to the San Gabriel River Trail. I usually like to take this little section when I'm coming back on various rides. It's mellow, kind of relax before the end of the ride. Hey, let me talk about gear while I have you here. So particularly any of you who are getting into electric unicycles right now or considering it, and like this may be your first wheel, I want to emphasize the importance of safety gear. Now, I've been a huge proponent of safety gear. Probably after, it took me about a year of riding, having various falls, messing up my, I didn't break anything, but messing up my wrists, you know, various falls. You know, I learned the hard way, and then I started getting much more aggressive in terms of the safety gear that I wear. But you know, for small wheels like this, or particularly if I'm going to making an errand and going to a store, you know, I don't want to look like RoboCop as I'm walking through the store, and I don't think it's really necessary. Again, you know, I'm not going super fast, but don't fall under the false premise that if you're not riding fast, you can't get injured. In many ways, you can get hurt worse going slower than faster. Because when you're going faster, and now it depends on how you fall and what you hit and so forth, but quite often, you know, the faster you go, the more rolling and sliding you're doing. The slower you go, it's going to be more of a hit, just a hit on the ground. And you know, the human body can really suffer a lot of damage from just standing. You know, if you were to just stand and fall without putting out your hands, or maybe putting out your hands, you could cause a lot of damage, actually. You know, I think I've broken ribs from when I slipped on some ice on a wheel. The wheel just whoop, went like that. I was probably going 2 miles an hour, and I just landed right on my chest. Yeah, that was painful. I broke a shoulder riding a wheel, and I was probably going 15 miles an hour, but I hit a bump on a wheel that didn't have power pads. And I'm not sure if the power pads would have saved me, but I fractured a shoulder. That took a couple years to fully recover. Of course, I broke my ankle on a wheel that shall not be named, that turned off on me, and I was going about probably 10 miles an hour, and I dislocated my ankle, broke a couple bones in my ankle, and I was out for a few months. Very disruptive to my lifestyle. So you can get hurt not going fast. Anyway, you should minimally, when you ride an electric unicycle, and I really tried to follow what I do what I say, is wear knee pads all the time when you ride. Because I guarantee you, if, and mostly not if, but when you fall, your knees are going to hit. It'd be extremely rare if your knees didn't hit when you fall. And next thing that hits after your knees is your hands, your wrist going down. So wear safety gloves. I've been wearing these E-Rides, big fan of these E-Rides gloves. I like the half finger ones, but I also have the full finger ones, usually used for colder weather. So wear wrist guard protection and hand and finger protection. Even if you don't break your wrist, you can really bloody up your hands when you if there's no protection. And thirdly, wear a helmet. Don't necessarily have to wear a full face helmet, but there have been some bad accidents in the past on electric unicycles, and I like to think that I can learn from other people's mistakes. And I've been one of the early proponents of using full face helmets, and now pretty much everyone uses full face helmets. It just seems to make sense. Protect your teeth, protect your face. But if you don't want to do that, particularly at the beginning, at least get a good half helmet, because unexpected stuff happens. And particularly when you're learning, you can fall backwards very easily. And this gate is closed. I love the tight turning radius on this V9. It is very much like it feels very nimble, like my other small wheels. You know, the M10 series of wheels. This is really fun to ride. So yeah. Wait for this bicyclist in front of me. Wear knee pads, wrist protection, and head protection. Those are your basics. And then when you get further along, you want to wear elbow protection. And I'm also a big believer in eye protection, particularly if you do any trail riding. Wear eye protection, wear glasses, because there can be sticks, branches that stick out that you do not see, and it can literally poke out an eye, very bad. So wear some kind of protection. I'll put a link to all the stuff I mentioned right now in the description, in case you want to check it out. Generally, the stuff I recommend in my on my links in my description or my Amazon store, I only put stuff that I actually use or did use, and then maybe I moved on to something else. But I don't put links to stuff that I just think might look cool or that you might like. Only time-tested stuff for me. All right, guys, I think I'll call that quits for this uneventful first real ride on the V9. Well, actually, I'm going to say goodbye right now, but then a second later, I'll interject at the very end, and I'll show you how much battery I have left after this ride's over, so we get a sense of the range that we might be getting at the speeds I've been going. Looks like really 18 to 20 miles per hour. Again, that feels like the sweet spot for me on this wheel. See you in a second. All right, getting close to home. So this will be about 11-mile ride. I'll put the stats up here. And looks like it's going to be about 60% battery. 11 miles. So at max speed was 20, but I'd say most of the time I was going more in the 18 miles per hour range. So, you know, 20 mile range wheel, I would say, at those kind of mellow, smell the roses speed, which is good. Fine by me. I mean, I'm not getting a wheel like this to go on long distance rides, right? Again, commuting, errand running, that kind of stuff. I'm really enjoying the ride though. It's really, it's got a very smooth power delivery, very quiet. I'll have to turn on that feature where it makes some noise when you're moving. And I can't tell, I'll have to look at the video later, but I don't think the LED moving, you know, the follow me mode LED, I don't think that really works as well as I'd hoped. I could be wrong when I look back at this video, but it seems like you have to be moving much quicker for the speed of the LED to change. I think it'd be better if it was more linear in the response. Anyway. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, safe riding.